Hi and welcome. This tutorial is going to show you how to combine different scans together to create one mesh. I'm starting off with some files that I've already prepared from the NextEngine scanner here, and I'm going to be using PLY files. The first thing I want to mention is that you don't want to just simply drag and drop the files into Geomagic, because that won't allow you to work the way we need to. Instead, what we're going to do is go to Import and then import the files from here. You can select multiple files with the Control key and then click Open, and this will open up both of the files using their file names. It asks me if I want to use a mesh doctor. No. And just to give you a brief context as to what we're looking at, this is the original object, and it was scanned in two different orientations. So in this orientation, did a number of scans all the way around, and then flipped the object so this top part was embedded in this in the plasticine below, and then the part that's buried right now was then scanned. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to Alignment, and I want to do a manual registration. And under this section here, I'm going to leave this on endpoint registration. I'm going to select bottom. This is the part that's going to be fixed, and then the top part is going to be what's going to register to it. And so based on what we were looking at before, these are both pointing up right now, but one of them actually has to get moved relative to the other one. So what I'm going to do is rotate this model so that it's upside down, but relative to this other model here, they're in the same orientation now. And then I'm going to simply look for a few common areas. So it might also help if under Display I turn off my vertex color, so I'm just looking at the geometry now, because those registration points weren't the same in both cases. I moved things around when I was scanning, so they're not actually going to be that helpful. So I'm going to just choose a few common points here. Maybe this guy right over here. And every time I click, I'm adding a number. I need 3 numbers. If I make a mistake, Control Z to undo, so I can undo my last placement. And looks like this guy right here is going to work as well. So I have 3, and if I go back into my dialog here, I'm going to click on Register. It's going to calculate, and then it's done. So I'm going to click OK. The next thing I need to do is, well, I want to basically get rid of all this extraneous information, all the original plasticine that I was using for both these pieces. And just a quick note about navigation here, you can see that as I click on one or the other, it sort of cycles between the two. When I have my bottom piece selected, you'll notice that I can't select this top area here. Only the bottom section is selectable, and vice versa. When I click on the top is now active. The bottom is not active down here. So that can be a good thing in terms of selecting things. I'm going to just look at things from the side here, and what I want to do is essentially get rid of, well, actually if I hide this, I can see this more clearly. I want to select everything that I'm not going to need, and I've got a decent amount of overlap between the two scans, which is fine, but I just want to make sure that I'm selecting all the way around. All this stuff here I definitely don't need, so I'm going to hit delete on that. And and hide that previous selection, and then do the same thing on this bottom part here. And I want to be fairly generous with that selection. I don't want to be too skimpy, because that data, as it gets closer and closer to the plasticine, that's definitely not going to overlap with the other part. And we want to make sure that what we're going to be using in the end is sort of universal to both pieces, as you can see right now. So if I were to just zoom in a little bit, I can see that there's really no undercut happening along that seam. Looks like it's a fairly decent selection. If this were rising up a little bit and I could see underneath, I might want to be a little bit more aggressive with the overlap area. I might cut away a little bit more, sort of going in here and saying, okay, I need to be further down like that, for instance, and remove a little bit more that way. So at this point, I'm ready to do a global alignment, and you'll notice that global alignment is grayed out right now. That's because I only have one of these objects selected. So I need to hit Shift and select both of them here, and you'll notice that all these other options appear now. So global alignment is what I need, and I'm going to just leave all the settings as they are for now, and I'm going to hit Apply, and it's calculating, and it's just slightly moved the objects so that they sort of overlap better. I can do an overlap reduction here, and in doing that, if you look at the preview area here, it did actually move just a little bit, as you'll see right there. So it's not distorting the object, it's just moving it to sort of reduce any sort of deviation between the two as best as it can. At this point, I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to go into polygons. And again, both of these are selected right now, so merge is available. If only one of them was selected, merge would not be available. So Shift to select both of them, and then merge. And within this command, we have options for reducing noise, both on the separate parts before the merging happens, or afterwards on the resulting object. I tend to leave noise reduction off in these cases. I'd rather have full disclosure over what's happening, and I can always reduce noise afterwards in some of these other commands. So the maximum deviation, you can think of that as the amount that the polygons are going to move between the two different sections. I tend to just leave that at default for now. And then finally, under Advanced, I would remove overlap, so that it's going to remove anything that's overlapping, that's not contacting in here. And if I run OK, there we go. And again, to look at the geometry without all that color information, I can look at it like this. So here are my original two scans. They're still in the file, bottom and top, and then selecting both of them. Oops. Allows me to see just the final result, like that. That's essentially how you'd create a merged mesh. And at this point, I could, making sure that this is selected. Actually, I would do it directly from here. I would just right-click on there and then say Save. And then here I could save it under whatever type of format I wanted. If I wanted to keep the color information, I could save it as a PLY file again. And do it like that. And to see what it looks like in Rhino, if I were to just drag that in, this is Rhino 5. You can see the geometry. There are some discontinuities in some of the spacing, but that could always be remeshed in Geomagic as well. And you can see the color information from the vertices. Just to show, here we go. So it is one complete mesh, and it's good to go for whatever happens next. So that's how I take care of different sets of scans that need to be merged into one mesh. Thanks for watching.